AI was supposed to replace developers. Instead, it's making them slower. And now companies are hiring them back. So what went wrong? In 2024, everyone said the same thing. AI is going to replace developers. You saw the headlines: 124,000 tech layoffs, companies cutting engineers left, right, and center. And the narrative was simple: we don't need humans anymore, AI can do the coding. But here's the part that doesn't make sense. It's now 2026, and those same companies, well, they're quietly hiring those developers back. In fact, some analysts are now saying that up to 50% of companies that cut roles because of AI will rehire those positions by 2027. So what's actually happened? Because either AI didn't work or something else is going on. Let me give you the stat that nobody expected. AI is making senior developers 19% slower, not faster. So think about that for a second. We were promised 10 times productivity, and instead, the most experienced people in the room are losing time. Why? Because AI doesn't reduce work, it shifts the work. So here's what's actually happened. AI has started generating code at scale, which sounds great until you realize what that creates: a lot more code. In some cases, up to 38% more code to maintain. And not just more code, worse code. Studies are now showing that AI-generated code can contain up to 1.7 times more errors than human-written code. So now that you've got more code, more bugs, more time fixing everything, this is just now a junk code problem. The easiest way to think about this is AI is copying and pasting solutions from the internet at scale. It works until it doesn't, and when it breaks, no one really understands why. Whereas good developers, they build with intentions. They understand the system, the dependencies, and the trade-offs. So when something goes wrong, they can fix it quickly. But when companies scaled AI-generated code, they ended up with systems full of patches instead of structure. And that's where things started to fail. In fact, companies like Amazon reported multiple critical errors in a short period of time after AI-assisted code changes. That's not a productivity boost, that's a production risk. Now let's talk about why this is happening, because this is the part most people misunderstand. AI is very good at one thing: writing syntax. But software isn't just syntax. Software is decisions, it's trade-offs, it's understanding the business, the edge cases, and the systems that already exist. And this is where AI completely falls apart. Because AI doesn't understand the entire business's context, it doesn't know why something was built a certain way. And that creates a massive gap. There's data showing that over 50% of failures in AI-generated code are caused by a lack of business context, not syntax errors. So the code might work, but it doesn't work where it matters. And then you get the next problem: integration. You can generate all this code, but now it has to connect to real systems, legacy systems, APIs, databases, and nearly 4 out of 10 teams report that AI-generated code struggles to integrate properly into existing infrastructure. So now you've got more code that doesn't fully fit. You can probably see where this is going to go. And here's something even more concerning. AI isn't great at fixing its own mistakes either. In control studies, models fail to self-correct in over 60% of cases, even when asked to review their own code. So now the burden has shifted back to humans. And this creates a huge bottleneck because someone still has to review everything and take responsibility for the outcome. So this is where the market has started to shift, because something unexpected has happened. Junior roles did start to disappear because AI can now handle a lot of the entry-level tasks, but at the same time, senior developers became way more valuable. In fact, over 60% of companies increased hiring for senior engineers in 2026, specifically to review and fix AI-generated code. Why? Because someone has to understand the system, catch hidden issues, and make real decisions. So now companies are in a weird position because they reduced their teams, but now they've increased the dependency on more experienced people. And this is where you get something called boomerang hiring. Companies that laid off developers are now trying to bring them back. In some cases, a significant portion of their new hires are actually former employees returning, because those people have something AI doesn't: context, experience, and business knowledge. Now here's the part that nobody really wants to say out loud. AI didn't replace developers, it exposed how valuable real developers actually are. And in some cases, AI has become a very convenient narrative, because if you tell the market we're cutting costs because of AI, it sounds like progress and it looks good for the stock price. Meanwhile, big tech is pouring hundreds of billions into AI infrastructure but still relying on humans to make it usable. And now, the most valuable person in the room isn't the one writing the code, it's the one deciding what code should exist in the first place. So, what does this mean for you? If you're still focusing on writing code faster, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Because the future isn't about typing speed, it's about architecture, debugging, system thinking, and understanding business logic. Because AI can generate code, but it can't think through a system end to end. And that's where the real value is moving. So the big takeaway is this: writing code is not the same as building software, and the people who understand the difference are the ones who are going to win in the next phase. I'm curious, have you started seeing this junk code problem in your own workflows yet? Drop a comment below. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe because the shift is just getting started.